The rain fell gently over the hills of Baguio, a soft whisper from heaven, over homes, hearts, and hidden grief. Inside a quiet room sat Eli, 33 years old, once a passionate youth minister, now a man with tired eyes, staring at a Bible he hadn't opened in weeks. The room was filled with old sermon notes, unopened letters, and a dusty guitar that once played worship songs. 6 months earlier, he lost everything. His wife, and their unborn daughter, taken in a car accident by a drunk driver. They were on their way home from a prayer meeting, excited to name the baby Grace. Eli was supposed to be with them that night, but he stayed behind to counsel a young man from church, ironically someone struggling with alcohol. He had prayed, fasted, cried, and that night, all he could ask God was, why? But heaven was silent. The weeks that followed blurred into one long arc. People brought food. Some offered verses. Others stayed silent, unsure of what to say. Eli tried to keep going. He preached sometimes. He prayed when others watched, but inside he felt hollow. Faith bruised, heart grieving, hope hanging by a thread. He no longer recognized himself. The man who once led worship with fire in his heart now struggled to say, God is good. One cold evening, walking home after declining another speaking engagement, he passed a dim alley near Burnham Park. There, under a torn tarp, sat a young woman with a baby wrapped in her coat. Her clothes were soaked. Her lips quivered in the cold. The baby clung to her chest, barely stirring. Their eyes met. "Do you have anywhere to go?" he asked. She looked away, then whispered, "My husband left. Our baby has a hole in his heart. I have nothing." Eli hesitated. He had nothing left to give. But from the depths of his brokenness came words that surprised even him. "Come with me. You can stay at the ministry house. We'll find a way." Her name was Joy. The baby? Liam. Just 6 months old. The ministry house was dusty and cold. He hadn't opened the guest rooms in months. But he found blankets, boiled some noodles, and gave her his late wife's winter coat. Days passed, then weeks. Joy cleaned the house as a thank you. She rarely smiled, but she sang lullabies softly at night. Liam's weak giggles became the only sound that brought Eli peace. Each night, Eli read the Psalms aloud, partly for Liam, mostly for himself, and slowly, God began stirring something inside him. Not answers, but healing. One evening, Joy broke down in tears. "People think I'm a mistake. I've made too many wrong choices. I used to go to church, but I stopped. I thought God gave up on me." Eli listened, then replied quietly, "God never gave up on you, or me. We just got lost. For a while, he didn't preach. He just sat beside her. Sometimes the greatest sermons are silent companionship." One morning, Joy rushed in, panic on her face. "Liam's breathing is shallow," she cried. They took him to the hospital. The diagnosis was confirmed, a congenital heart defect. He needed urgent surgery. 500,000 pesos. Eli's account? Only 12,000 pesos. That night, Eli knelt beside his bed. He clenched the same Bible he once nearly threw at the wall. And he prayed. Not with eloquence, not with bold declarations. Just honest, broken words. "God, I can't lose another person I love. Not again. If you're still with me, show me. Even if you don't heal Liam, help me trust you anyway." Sunday arrived. Eli hadn't preached in months. But something stirred in him. An urgency. A fire. He stood before the congregation. Unfamiliar, faces filling the pews. His voice trembled. I used to think God's will was easy to understand, but now, I know it's not clarity God gives. It's trust, Job said. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Even Jesus, God himself, said, Not my will, but yours be done. He paused, eyes filling with tears. Sometimes the miracle isn't in the healing, but in the heart that still believes when healing doesn't come. The church was silent, but heaven was listening. A woman stood up, walked forward, placed an envelope at the altar. For Liam, she said softly. Then another came forward. Then a father who lost his own son years ago. Then a child who gave his piggy bank. By the end of the day, the box held 537,400 pesos. Eli wept, not just because the goal was reached, but because God had spoken, not with thunder, but through love. The surgery was done. Liam lived, and Eli, he found something too. Not the answers he longed for, but the faith he thought he had lost. Real faith, the kind that doesn't depend on comfort or control, but on trust. One night, Eli sat by Liam's crib. The child was sleeping peacefully. Joy stood at the doorway, her eyes filled with tears. You saved us, she whispered. Eli shook his head, smiling. No, God saved us. I just didn't understand how. Until now. A year later, the ministry house was full again, not with sermons, but with stories. A woman who escaped abuse, a teenager rescued from the streets, a widowed man who found purpose mentoring broken families. Each story was a thread in a divine tapestry. Every Sunday, Eli shared their journeys. He didn't pretend to know it all, but he knew this. God's will is not always easy. It's not always fast. It's rarely what we expect, but it's always holy, always good, always for His glory. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. In the mystery of suffering, in the silence of waiting, even in the ashes of loss, God is sovereign. God is near, and God never wastes pain. The cross looked like defeat, but it was victory. It was love. So when you don't understand, when heaven feels silent, when all you can whisper is, why? Let your soul echo this. Not my will, but yours be done.